Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the SC1 Factory Team Call. We're so glad to have every single one of you here with us. Tonight, we're going to be going into week 10 of the 6-month training course that we're doing here for Team Freedom Reigns. And really, for anybody that wants to hop onto our YouTube channel and check it out, it's the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel. Make sure that if you have not watched the previous sessions, to go back and gather all of the different skills that Dr. Dondee has been teaching since I've been out of town. I'm still out of town. I'm in Tucson with our brand new baby girl, our granddaughter. But tonight we're going to be going through the follow-up mastery. And it is going to be so empowering to you because I think a lot of the times many of us get lost in the follow-up. We think that we have to be sending specific things to people in a specific order to be able to consider it being a follow-up. And sometimes we just don't do it because we're not organized and we forget. So if that's you, say me in the comments, because I definitely know that that's been me in the past, right? Up until now, I've had some situational issues with that, but we're all getting better together because the fortune is in the follow-up. So Dondee, if you want to go ahead and start us off here, I'd love for you to come in and share.
Awesome. Thank you, Marci. And the bottom line in all of this, in full transparency, is that if you want to build a successful LifeVantage business, that follow-up, it must be a non-negotiable. It's just something that you must do. And let me kind of lay the groundwork for that, or just kind of give you a little bit more context. Because if the last week has shown us anything, there's a lot of people in the world that aren't where they want to be. And by the reactions of what's happened in the world, and God bless Charlie Kirk and his family, and the people around him, and the people around the suspect or the alleged killer. I mean, it's obviously when people do crazy things that there's a lot of stress in the world, and there's a lot of people looking for something different. There's a lot of people that are on their knees praying for the very things that we have. So if we truly believe, and we've talked about belief before, if we believe in the company, we believe in the products, we believe in network marketing as an industry, and we specifically believe in LifeVantage and its leadership, and we believe most importantly in ourselves that we can do this, then we know we have a tremendous amount of opportunities to help people. And that being said, and that being the context from which we operate from, if we have information that can benefit people, we've got to share it with them. And because there's so much information in this world, sometimes people are a little cautious and they take things in bite-sized nuggets. So just be prepared for follow-up. And if you want to be successful, just make it a mandatory, non-negotiable thing because it is critically that important. So go ahead, next slide, Marci. So with regard to the follow-up and why it matters most and why you should absolutely look forward to doing it is, yes, solving people's problems. Yes, helping people have a higher vibration of health and a higher vibration of financial security and both, but then also giving them the ability to turn around and give that blessing to other people. So, but here's the reality. People are busy. People are distracted. People lose focus. People diagnose themselves later in life with ADD, like myself. For the longest time, being a healthcare provider, being a doctor who studied these kinds of things intimately, I did not want to accept the fact that I have challenges with my distraction, that I see squirrels that aren't even there. In fact, the squirrels that aren't even there that I'm seeing are breeding like rabbits. And I don't know if they're squirrels or rabbits, but I get distracted easily. And I'm poking fun at myself because that's how it is. But I also know that I am not alone. So people are busy, they're distracted, they forget easily. So you showing up as a caring, loving person that has their best interest in mind, follow up is just naturally what you do. But here's the scenario. You will get no's. You will get more no's than yeses, but take no's like your vitamins and realize that no does not mean no. No just simply means not right now or not for now for that person because there's something else that they are determining is of a higher priority. Just realize that's the case and realize that you must be patient and follow up is important. But consistent, caring, following up with people is your greatest predictor of success. And when you do it right, it will also be the greatest provider of gratifying stories for you and things for you to be grateful for, and having a multitude of people that are grateful that you did follow up. In fact, I'm thinking about myself right now. What would my life be like if Blue Elam did not follow up with me 16 plus years ago? What would it be like? I would probably be one of the most stressed out people in the world if I would even, interestingly enough, still be here. Because I was at a very, very deep crossroads in my life when Blue Elam reached out to me, and I hung up on him the first time and told him, I don't do those things. He called back and I hung up on him again. I don't do those things. You've got the wrong person. And then he said what he said. He listened to me on the radio show, which is how he got my contact information. And then he shared something with me. Interestingly enough, I was already using Protandem. I was already on Protandem, our NRF2, and I was already having some patients in my practice already receiving the benefits when I learned about LifeVantage, the manufacturer of Protandem, which I didn't know. I was getting it at GNC, but his persistence and him caring about me changed everything in my life. And so I will be eternally grateful to that man. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, because 16 and a half years ago, when he shared this with me, I was at a place which was very dark in my life. And it took me out of that and gave me the ability to turn around and give that blessing to other people. So be consistent, be caring, follow up with people, because it's the greatest predictor of success. And you never know where someone is at and what they're going through. So please, that's why follow up matters. Time is something people want more of, with this to spend with the people they love and care about the most, and the finances with which to do it. And we have both of those as solutions here in our quiver here at LifeVantage.
You know, one thing I want to say about no is that when someone tells you no, don't take that personally, okay?
Yes, yeah.
What you want to take it as is that, you know what, they are just not in the right circumstances for this to be right for them right now. And keep in mind that they just don't know what they don't know, right? Because you know something that they don't, it doesn't mean that they're automatically going to be able to say yes to that. But think about this past week, or even this past year, or even the past 5 years. How many times have people's circumstances changed? People's circumstances can change within a minute or 10 minutes or a day, right? And so just know that as people's lives change, their circumstances may make it to where they're more open to what you have to be offering them. And so if you're in the consistent being a good person follow-up mode, then they will be there and you will be there and connect at the right time for them. So I am so excited for you to get the rest of this training tonight.
So here's some shocking sales statistics about follow-up. And because let's just be honest, people, one of the things that I hear is the greatest criticisms of network marketing when people say, well, I'm not a salesperson, or I can't sell. I don't like to sell. It makes me feel icky. Well, the reality is we sell all the time. It's just a matter of context. So, if somebody's reading a good book, or they ask you, hey, do you know a good book? And you tell them, you're literally selling them why they should buy that book or why they should read that book. But we don't look at it that way. But realize that sales is just blessing ignorant people with something they didn't previously know that can change their life when they look at it without judgment. And that's some of these statistics. So think about this: 48% of salespeople never follow up even one time. So in other words, they give them an invitation, and 48% of people never follow up on that invitation. 25% of salespeople make a second contact, meaning they've already sent the invitation and they have their first follow-up, but they stop there. Look at 48% and 25%. We're almost 75% of people just do one follow-up. An additional 12% of people follow up twice, or the third contact, but only 10% of people make it more than 3 contacts, or 2 additional follow-ups after the invite. And as a result of that kind of behavior, 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So when you send out an information to 100 people, 2 people are going to buy your product or join your team. It's just the numbers. You send out 100 and you follow up a second time with the people you send it out to. So now 200 contacts, you'll get another 3%. So 5% of those people, 200 contacts, 5 people will join, or 200 reach outs, 5 people will join your business either as customers or consultants. An additional 5% when you follow up the next time. So now we're looking at 10%. 300 touches gives you 10 people. If you've heard that before, it's the 1 to 30 ratio that Tyler Daniels talks about. And then an additional reach out for now 400 reach outs is going to give you what? 20 people. And then 80% of people who join your business are going to come from the fifth and subsequent follow-up. So make a commitment right now as you're hearing this. And these numbers are not dismal, they're just reality. So just understand you have the roadmap right here. Before you've recommitted or made the commitment initially, realize make a commitment to follow up at least 5 times and dramatically and predictably increase your follow-up. And I'm going to talk to you about what we think about, what people think or what people may be thinking about you. Don't worry about that, because if they truly have a need and you care for them, you kind of owe it to yourself and owe it to them to follow up if you truly help them or you truly want to help them and they truly have a need. Go ahead, next slide, Marci. So in the reality of this, when it's you and you're getting the no after no after no after no, realize it sucks. Every no sucks. But what Marci said, don't take it personal, because it's not about you. If they have a need and you have their best interest in mind, and you're doing it respectfully and politely and patiently, and they say no, it's not about you. Never is, never will be. It's about them. They just don't see it at that moment, or there's something else distracting them, or they're going through something, or whatever the case may be. But when you follow up, and the term here is when they're at high noon or at straight up 12 o'clock, because once you get to that straight up 12 o'clock, that person's absolute need, they will listen and they will be so grateful for you. You'll hear things like, thank you for not giving up on me. We hear these kinds of stories all the time, and I'll tell you about one that was 10 years in follow-up. But don't give up too soon. Most people quit right before they hit gold, or right before that person would have joined their business. And here's the strategy. You got them so focused, so ready, and then you didn't follow up that 5th time or beyond, and you just go dark. You go into the witness protection program to them. And what happens is they start to lose confidence. They start to lose faith in what you were saying. Oh, it must not have been that important, or something even worse. They see an opportunity. They see someone else talk about the product for the first time. They see someone else's live. They see someone else's reel. They see someone else's post, and they're like, yeah, that's the thing that Joe was telling me about. And then it's like, I've been wanting that, but I forgot his contact information, and they sign up with that person. You did all the heavy lifting and all the legwork. They see one post of someone else and they join that person's team. I see it happen all the time. It's happened to us. And it sucks when it happens, when you're sitting in a room in a meeting and someone else walks in with somebody you've been following up with a long time, but there's been a gap in the follow-up. First thing you do is look at yourself and you get angry, but don't fall. That person's like, I was wondering what happened to you. I lost your contact information. There's a ton of things that happen, but consistency beats pushiness. You're not being pushy. If you start feeling a pushback and there's a respectful way of doing it, honor where the person's at in their time. It might not just be right for them, but don't ever, 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 ever quit.
Yeah. So let's talk about priming the pump, right? Because that's really what Dondee's talking about here. There's the concept of priming the pump. How many of you know what priming the pump means? Put a 1 in the comments if you know what priming the pump means. It means, like, if you have a well, the old-fashioned ones, they had those pumps, right? That you had to like pump it and 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 pump it before you'd get a little drip, right? But then you had to pump it and you had to pump it and you had to pump it. You're priming the pump to get the flow of water to come out of the well the way that you want it to come out. Well, to correlate that to the follow-up, when you follow up 1 or 2 times, you're priming that person, priming that person, priming that person, right? And if you stop, you've done the priming for whoever comes along behind you. So you're priming the pump for somebody else to come in and have an easier go at your prospect if you don't follow through for a long enough period of time for them to make a decision to join you as either a consultant or a customer, right? So don't be priming the pump for somebody else. Be priming the pump for you, for your business, and for those people that you're sharing this information with, because they really would rather join with you, not with some strangers that just happens to come in and you've already done most of the work for them. So I love that example, and I hope that makes sense to you guys.
Absolutely. So here's the fortune formula, the follow-up framework, if you will. And the immediate, once you've sent them the initial invitation, they engage you, they correspond back, thank them, be grateful, thank them for taking the time because they are reciprocating your extension of grace and you having their best interest in mind. So thank them with the initial engagement that you have on that invitation, however it is, whether it's a conversation, they answered your email, you sent it in text, they watched the video, they got on your training, whatever the case may be, thank them for engaging. And then set this 1, 3, 7, 14 in your calendar with each person after you extend the initial invitation and start the correspondence ball rolling of communication. Day one, send the information they were expecting that you told them that you would send or that they expressed interest in, and then that you promised them. Make sure you send it to them. And then whatever their response is, on day 3, you've got a day to follow up, reach back out and ask, did you get a chance to check out the video that I sent you? Did you read that article I sent you? Did you see those amazing before and after pictures that I sent you? And they say, yes, what did you like about it? Don't say what did you think about it, because this is very, very key in your invitation. If you say what do you think about it, you're offering positive, negative, or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with addressing negative as they come up with it. Next week, in fact, next week's training is all about that, about handling objections. It's what did you like about it? Because if they saw what they saw, they were a little confused, they had some things they liked, they weren't certain about this. If you focus on what did you like, you're starting the conversation on a positive, and then they can share with you. Then they say, awesome, what else did you like? Kind of focus on the positive vein. And then that's on day 3. Day 7, add additional value or information or share a testimonial. And this, again, the initial invitation, then day 1, day 3, day 7. These are built-in follow-up days in your repertoire, in your cadence of following up with people. Day 7, add additional value. Send a before and after picture if they just saw an invitation video, or send a video on the product that they are the most excited about. Or if they're super excited, send an article and another product. Say, because you like this product, I thought you'd probably want to take a look at this too. I can't wait to hear your feedback on it. And issue kind of a challenge. Keep the conversation open when you do this, but add additional value or information and share a testimonial. Oh my gosh, that product, whatever you sent them, you should see some of the people's experiences. Let me send you another before and after. For example, like the collagen or the MindBody GLP-1 system. Or, oh my gosh, there's a great video on someone's testimonial about their Protandim NRF2, NRF1, or NAD experience, whatever the case may be. And so, because there's a multitude of information out there, it's just a matter of sharing with them. And then, regardless of how much conversation goes between 7 and 14 days, on day 14, have it in there to connect with a team member. Remember this whole system of ITT. Invite, tool, you're giving the initial invite, and then on day 1, 3, and 7, you're giving additional tools and conversation. Day 14, if they haven't asked for it or their questions haven't led them, on day 14, it's when you bring in a team member. So invite them to connect with a team member. Oh my gosh, I would love to introduce you to Sarah on our support team. She's amazing. She's had such great results with these products and helping other people have great results like she had. I can't wait to introduce you so she can share her story. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, because she's an expert in this. She's been doing it for a long time, and I am really excited to make the introduction. Because if you do that right, and it's in the person's best interest, and you're going down a conversation chain that you've already had, why wouldn't they? Because this is also, think about this. People will pick up on your energy level. It's called modeling or matching. If you've ever heard of Tony Robbins, he talks about that all the time. You model or match someone's energy, because the person with the most energy in the conversation always wins. It's always out now, unless they've lost it. It's controlled energy and energy that is beneficial. The person with the most of it and has the most certainty. And because the person with the most energy and they're doing it for positive reasons, with that certainty, they will always be in control of the conversation. And that's exactly what this whole day 14 in introducing somebody to a team member, a part of their support team, which will be there to help them as well, is so critically important. Marci, if you want to add anything in any of these, please go ahead.
Of course, you know I will.
Okay. And so here's some tools to make this a little easier. So a CRM is a client or a customer. I forget what it is. CRM. It's basically a way that you can use an app, you can use your paper calendar. It's a way to continue a client relationship management is what it is. And so it's whether you use a paper calendar, whether you've got a software package, whether you just have your own protocol, involve them in Messenger, involve them in WhatsApp. You're communicating that way. You're communicating through Facebook or LinkedIn or just through text message or email, whatever your preferential way. Have your calendar reminders on day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14 with every one of your prospects that you send an invitation to, and then make sure you're tracking it. Make sure you're following up, however you do that. And there's great ways to do it, but if someone else's way doesn't work for you, use the way that works for you. And if you don't have one, look at them, because again, we're not here to share a CRM or a protocol. We're here to help you and encourage you to find your own. But have calendar reminders in there. What I like to do is I like to set reminders and alarms in my phone to remind myself to do things, because I can get distracted. I can see squirrels when there's not even squirrels there. It's just part of who I am. Have scripts and have templates. Now, not scripts that sound mundane, like you're reading some kind of a script. Have it be you, what you would say. Find an example, get the bullet points, and then use your words, because your words and your passion, especially your energy and your conviction, come across when you're sharing your own voice. But scripts and templates make that so easy and systematic. And then voice notes. This is one of the things I love. Voice notes and video notes on Facebook Messenger, in WhatsApp, and on LinkedIn connections. We've talked about that in one of the previous trainings, how amazing and personal and unique it is when you use their name. You talk to them in person. I love video and I love audio way more than text, because everyone uses text. Not as many use video or use voice or audio, and hardly anyone uses video. So it instantly sets you apart and brings you to a higher trust level. And we're going to talk about know, like, trust, buy here in a slide or two. So your voice notes, videos add a unique personal touch and instantly makes them feel leaned into, meaning you truly have their best interest in mind.
So in boards, we have a lot of scripts, a lot of templates, a lot of things for you to be able to utilize for your follow-up as some of the tools. So if you don't have boards, make sure that you get connected with your upline support team to get invited into the Team Freedom Reigns boards for those additional tools.
Absolutely. So here's the tone of the follow-up. Be curious, be concerned, be loving. Don't be desperate, and don't be dismissive. Don't say, hey, I don't want to waste your time, and I know you're busy and you're kind of backstepping already. What that does is it lacks confidence. And that is a personal thing. I say that because that's how I was in the beginning. I didn't want to bother people because I hated the whole feeling of selling. Because I hated it when people try to sell me stuff, and you know who they are. It's that used car mentality, used car salesman mentality. Nobody really likes that at all. I don't know anybody who likes that. But doesn't everybody like the opportunity to buy something at a discount or buy something from someone friendly who is showing you the benefits of something? Because some of my greatest purchases ever have been with amazing salespeople. And sometimes I've run away with them or run away from them like the plague because you're bothering me. Leave me alone. When I'm ready, I'll come find you. Those kinds of things. So be curious, be concerned, be involved, but don't be desperate, and certainly don't be pushy. Always add value. Whether you're sharing an article, whether you're sharing a testimonial, you're sharing a before and after picture, or you're sharing a story of something, or you're giving them a tip. Or what I love too is you're probably experiencing this. Yeah, I remember when I had that. Make yourself relatable with the story so they're not thinking they're the only one, especially if this is the first time they've ever been involved in network marketing before. But keep the encounters short and friendly. And here's why. Because everything you do with a prospect and your relationship with them throughout is how you're teaching them and training them how to build their business. So if you're talking to them for 45 minutes or an hour every time, they're like, I don't have enough time to do this. They're looking at their watch. They're like, I could never build this business, because you're putting them in an awkward situation. And that's what happens when we're desperate and we don't have their best interest in mind, or we don't read body language. It's something also, and listen. Very, very important to listen. But keep it short, keep it friendly, and respect their time and their boundaries. Timing at night. I would not engage, I would not invite you to communicate with people after like 8:30 p.m., especially if they've got kids, and especially if they work during the day and they've got a spouse at home. So honor their time and their boundaries. And Marci, please jump in anytime.
Oh, and I want to on this because there are so many different ways to follow up with people utilizing the tools and everything about our products, everything about our opportunity and the stories, the before and afters, everything that we have to share, right? Yet, do you know that once you start sharing information with your prospect, every single time they see you, every single time they see one of your posts, every single time you reach out just to say, hey, how you doing? Or anytime you make a comment on one of their posts about their post, it is a follow-up, because they are going to instantly go back to, oh yeah, they're sharing that information with me. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to get back to them on this video. Or, oh yeah. So just keep in mind, being a good person, following up on this opportunity doesn't have to be about the products in the opportunity. It can be just reaching out as a friend or as an acquaintance on social media and saying, hey, I saw this about your family. I just want you to know I'm praying for you and hope everything's okay. You know, whatever it is, you do not have to mention LifeVantage or the products for it to be a follow-up and to be one of those priming of the pumps. As a matter of fact, I would say that these types of priming of the pumps are going to knit your hearts together more, and it will be a much tight relationship that can then really do some great things with this opportunity.
Absolutely. So here's the whole psychology behind this, because people buy from people they trust and that they feel close to. And so they may not know you. Maybe that when you see, maybe you just got connected on Facebook or LinkedIn, or the new neighbor next door you met in the grocery store. However, you came across someone, and your spheres interacted. They know you. That's where they start. And sometimes, like, you remember that 2% of people buy on the first reach out. You're going to get some people that buy just because they know you, because they liked you, or they felt close to you, had something in common. There was rapport there. But if you keep following up, they're going to go from knowing you to liking you. They see themselves in you. You have something in common with them. They feel close to you, and they're starting to trust you, which is the next phase. And they can buy at any point in time, but this is a process. Think of it like rungs of a ladder. The bottom rung is they know you, the next rung is they like you, then they trust you. And once you've achieved that, if you're still consistent and you haven't stopped following up, it's when the purchases come. They join your business as a consultant. They purchase a product from you as a customer, but it goes through these steps. And this is the kind of thing in every relationship, especially when we're talking about personal relationships, where they turn into business relationships that could bless people significantly. So trust builds over time. Now, sometimes it happens quicker than others. Sometimes when people are desperate and they really need something, it can magnify and it can accelerate very rapidly. Be there to support them through that. But repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity creates comfort. And comfort is when people will buy from you, because people in their comfort zone, when they feel trusted, they feel surrounded, or they like the people, and they truly you're vibing with them, they feel safe. Safe is really, really what this is. It's being in their safe zone, in their comfort zone of friend. This is where lifelong relationships are built just this way. And the deepest ones are built this way over time, whether it's a friendship or a customer basis or a consultant, because we have people in our business that aren't even in our business. They're in LifeVantage, that are our dearest, closest friends in the world. And
Yep.
it's all gone through this process. And they become literally as tight as blood family, and they're cross-line. We have no business relationship with them other than we have the same vision at LifeVantage, and that happens with engaging with them, taking trips with them, attending events with them, having lunch with them, which is also a great thing to do for resources to extend your team of support outside your line of sponsorship, because once you get into the executive ranks, everybody benefits from everybody, which is why this works so well and is so part of our culture and the psychology behind the follow-up.
Sorry, I had something else pop up.
No problem. So here's some real examples. So does anybody have an example they want to share? This is like some of the things where a script other than what you see here. This is one of the ones that I love to use. What did you like best about the video you just watched? Then when they tell you, that's awesome, I love that part too. What else did you like? Now, when I say awesome, I love that part too, if you didn't, don't false praise and saying things that aren't real are so easy to see, and will create the exact opposite of trust. It's distrust, like feel like they're being sold, because that's what used car people types of people say. And nothing against used car salesmen. There are ethical ones, but then there's other people that aren't. So make it authentic and integrous. It's like, I thought of you when I saw this testimonial. It's a great way to start a conversation, which will lead to an invitation. Oh my gosh, I saw the most awesome testimonial and I thought of you because we just had this conversation last week. Here, let me send this to you. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Or no pressure, I'm just keeping you in the loop. This is a follow-up thing. But these are real examples that I use, and you probably have some of your own. Does anybody want to share one that's worked for you guys? Go ahead and just unmute and chime in. We got a couple more slides to get through, so I want to make sure I honor everybody's time. But if you've got one that works well for you, please share, or type it in the text, even better, or in the chat rather.
Well, and while people are thinking, I want to just share an example of someone that followed up for 10 years before someone finally said yes to them and joining them in a network marketing business. And you all know Tara Wilson. She's a presidential consultant here with us at LifeVantage. She's amazing, great teacher and trainer. Well, she followed up with her best friend for almost a decade before she said yes to her to join her here with LifeVantage. Well, that person that she followed up with for 10 years, and she didn't just follow up with product and with the opportunity, she followed up as a good friend, right? So that person that finally said yes is Angie Harper. Angie Harper is an executive consultant 3, meaning, she's got a lot of volume going through her business every single month, right? And so just think about that. You don't know what diamond is just being pressed and being formed and being prepared to be able to say yes to you at exactly the right time, and what it will do for their lives, and then what it will do for yours. So I just wanted to share that as being, be consistent, be persistent, do not give up on your follow-ups.
That's so true.
Does anybody want to share? I can't see anybody. Let me see here. Nope, looks like, okay, so let's just keep going.
All right. So objections create opportunities. And like I said, all next week is going to be all about objection mastery, but not now does not mean never. No is what really they're saying when they say no. They're really saying not now, but it does not equal never. Ever, ever, ever does it equal never. So respectfully ask permission to circle back. Hey, when a new product comes out, would you mind if I reached out and share it with you? Because I know we're eventually going to find something that's going to click. Or when our stock price, when a new press release comes out or something, remember we're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. When something newsworthy happens, can I reach back out to you? Or can I send you a sample of one of our other products once in a while? And just keep the conversation open, because and most people are going to say yes, because it's just not the right time for them, but they do feel you have their best interest in mind. And I can't think of a single time where I've had somebody say, no, I'm good, you don't need to send me anything. Unless one, they didn't determine that I had their best interest in mind, and that this is something that's happened too. Everything seems to be going great, and then they go onto the internet and they find out that we got sued by some guy 7 years ago, and they get wigged out, and it's like, oh, what do you think about this? And now, and then they go into the witness protection program and they stop answering text. So, or any even phone calls. I say that because that's happened to me many, many, many times. But there's also been people just like that, that 5, 6, 7 years later, or when a product that better fits what they were looking for comes out, they're going to reach back out because it's always, I would say, in somebody like that, every 6 months to every year, hey, just, and don't, and nothing about the product, nothing about the company, just, hey, thinking about you, hope you're having a great day. Take care. You're just keeping contact. And I will share something with you. There's a guy named Ray Higdon. You guys probably know who he is. He's not in another company, although I heard rumor he started another company, but he's a coach for network marketers. Every single probably 3 months, he sends me a text. Hey, Dondee, hope everything's going great. Take care of your buddy Ray. On my birthday, always sends me a voice message on my birthday. Always, always, always. And he's never tried to recruit me. He just lets me know he's there. And he's one of my favorite people in this industry because he's always been there. And I know he has my best interest in mind. And when I talk to people about it, it's like, yeah, he does that for me too. And these are nobody because he's not even in a company. And so that's the kind of thing that sets you apart because that's where know, like, trust. So if there's ever anything that, he would eventually sell, or Marci and I did train under him for a while under rank makers. So we did utilize him, but that's just what great leaders do. So respectfully ask permission to circle up. And sometimes it's just every 3 months, every year, every 6 months, whatever, just a text, say, hey, thinking about you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I do that a lot too. And
Well,
then respect their timeline, stay present.
and depending on what your relationship is with this person too, if it's somebody that you're pretty close with, ask for permission to share when you hit milestones in your business because you'd love for them to celebrate with you, right? And then they can, be a good friend and celebrate you in these milestones that you're hitting in your business, whether it's a new seller level or whether it's hitting a new rank or an incentive trip. And along the way, as you start doing this more and more, they're going to be like, oh, maybe I really should take a look at what they're doing because it seems to really be working for them. So just be willing to share your wins. Way too often, I think that we don't want to put what we are being successful at out there to those people that we love and care about because we think that we're bragging or we're worried that they're going to judge us for that. Don't worry about what other people are going to think, guys, because they're going to think whatever they're going to think no matter what. You don't need to worry about that. That's their thing. You just need to be concerned with what actions you're taking on an every single day consistent basis. Okay. So it's good to celebrate you too.
Absolutely. So here's the fortune story. So when it goes from no to maybe to yes, and it's all in the follow-up. So anybody wants to share a story of a prospect who said no for months, like Tara just gave an example, or Marci just gave an example of Tara and Angie Harper. So the guy that I'm actually working with now, Dr. Bill, is a chiropractor. We were each other's chiropractor 12 years ago. And we would adjust each other once a week. I would go into his practice, adjust him, or he would adjust me, then I would turn around and adjust him. We did that for years and years and years. And I shared this with him initially, our LifeVantage opportunity, about 12 years ago, and was following up and bringing in samples. And he liked the Axio flavors. And then one day I go in there to adjust him, and I see he's got this Fitbit looking thing on his wrist, which was another network marketing company. And I said, hey, what did you think of that last thing I sent you? And he goes like, oh, he goes, awesome. He goes, but I found a company that I think is going to be a better fit for me. And he shows me the little Fitbit. And 6 months later, that company goes out of business. But I said that, and I saw one, I felt like I got kicked in the teeth because of all the efforts, but I didn't take it personal. For whatever it is, he's a smart guy. He knows I have his best interest in mind. He obviously has my best interest in mind. We're adjusting each other. And I said, that's awesome. You're going to crush it. And then I followed up a couple months later. Hey, he goes, I really haven't done much with it. And then followed up the next time, the company went out of business. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. I hope you find something better. And then about 6 months later, adjusting him, he's got a picture, a poster in his adjusting room of Isagenix products. He joined Isagenix, and I'm following up with them the whole time. And I was like, he goes, I just think these products are a better fit. They've got the endorsement of the guy that wrote the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And I'm like, okay, no, I get it. That's awesome. I hope you crush it. And I was like, and inside I'm crushed because it's like, this is the second time. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, the posters are down. He stopped working with Isagenix. Well, as I got back into chiropractic about a year ago, I started working in his office, and he was finally open, was really excited because the mind-body GLP-1 system came out. And there's a significant percentage of people there that are overweight that he tried to have the conversation with. It worked out great. He joined at the highest level. He bought all kinds of stuff, and there's still stuff sitting in the shelf in there because he just won't have the conversation. But someday something will click. And I'm constantly reminding him, constantly trying to share with him, this is what we could do. We could fill out these questionnaires because it's his practice. I'm literally an employee in his practice. And I was like, but eventually he may come around, but I love on him nonetheless. But for almost 11 years following up with this guy, and he joined 2 other companies, and he's frontline to us, hasn't done much at all. But I realized he didn't do anything with any of the other companies either. And then I realized it's just his personality. So when I see squirrels, he sees more squirrels than I do. And so he's got ADD worse than I do. And I was like, I realize I'm just trying to be there with him, try to support him, get him to do it. But that's the story. And who knows? He may end up just dropping out with us too, or he may get it one day when he realizes the impact of it. And so far it hasn't. But anybody else have a story? Anybody want to share a story, something like that? Or frustrated story of somebody who you felt betrayed you, like I felt twice with Dr. Bill? And I don't want to make it a negative, but
And it's okay if you guys don't want to share, that's fine. But just be thinking about those people, having them go through your mind. It's like, hey, that is what happened back then. But it doesn't mean that if you follow up with them now, that you potentially might have a different story, right? So just know that stories change every single day. We've all had these experiences, and we just want you to just get your wheels turning.
yes, actually. And so here's the action step. So this is the method that Marci uses better than I, but the regular paper calendar. And so create your own follow-up tracker. Just figure out the days that you can take an hour to do the follow-ups of the people you've got in the funnel on that day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14, or after the initial invite, and just put it in your calendar. Block the time out, because if you block the time out, you can actually do it. And I see in the chat that Becky or Betty has a story. That's awesome. I can't wait to hear it. So commit to at least 5 follow-ups. And if you remember that slide with the black background, 80% of all sales come after the 5th and subsequent follow-up. So commit to at least 5. You are tremendously increasing your likelihood of getting somebody in your business, either as a consultant or as a customer, but making sure you're following up on the 1, 3, 7, 14 days respectfully, not pushy, in their best interest, and following up with them, giving them additional information, and then on day 14, introducing them to a team member. But block the time out and follow up. Have a power hour as you do this. This is the cluster time when you can book a bunch of follow-ups in the same amount of time. You're in the mode, you're in the mindset, you're already going through the process. That makes it much easier than to switch to an invite and then do a follow-up and then send an email over here to this person and then check it, send a sample out. Just do it all cluster. If you do an hour of all follow-ups, it's much easier to track. It's much easier to stay in the same mindset and heart space and just crush the time you're there. So go ahead, Betty. I'd love to go ahead and unmute and share.
Hello?
Hi,
Hello,
Ben.
yes.
Yes, hi. Well, I have 2 unique issues, and it may not be unique to you, but to me it is. I have an individual, actually 2 persons, that I talked to about business to, and also told them about some products that we had that they were interested in, one being the Mind Body product. And she thought it was really good. I said, it's all natural, just went into the whole 9 yards. And so she's like, okay, well, let me get back with you. When I, called her back and so, wanted to find out what she thought of it. Did she have any idea when she might want to start it? And she told me she was on the Ozempic.
Hmm.
Okay. Now she was on the Ozempic, and somehow after probably 2 months, she felt like it didn't agree with her. So she got off of that. She went into another company through another product. Now, this is a good friend of mine's now. And she went from that product. Now, just recently, I went to visit her in Maryland, Aberdeen, Maryland. And she's on another product, but she said she really couldn't afford it. So she's been paying for these products where she told me before that she couldn't afford it through us, but it was more, she's paying more money for the other products. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I'm having a problem with trying to, how do I talk with her concerning that? And then I have another girl named Elaine. She says, definitely, I will get the products. But I bought a whole bunch of products the day we talked from another company. Let me finish those first.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
Love on her. Just love on her and keep following up, praising her, because eventually once she gets frustrated because whatever the next product she goes to, if she goes to another one, doesn't provide the results, or she runs out of the other products and she's still not where she wants to be, that's when it might be high noon, 12 o'clock for her. You show up in a loving, caring, supportive role and offer her the opportunity to, I would even say in this process, hey, can I send you a sample of some of our products just so that she's there. One, she feels that you're there. Two, that you've got her best interest in mind. And three, you're consistent in following up. And that's when it's just a matter of time, because statistics say it's just a matter of time. When your heart's in the right place and you truly want to help them and they get frustrated with all the other options, that's when they're a perfect chance. But if you haven't followed up, like Marci said about the priming of the pump example, someone else, they may see a post in someone else, a total stranger, and then they join under that person because they just felt awkward because there was too much of a gap between talking to you. It would make them feel awkward if they called you, and since you haven't called them, and I'm just giving some of the things that I've had to experience, unfortunately. And so following up on a consistent basis with everybody, and I'll see you on the next slide here, there's a tongue-in-cheek, until they call the cops.
Yeah. Okay, so Betty, sorry,
I'll definitely give all of my prospective clients or customers and consultants samples, so they get a lot. Even one of my consultant that's on now, she got samples too, so that's what convinced her to do the business. As well as another one, I don't know if she's on, but I'm always doing that so that I can give them something to think about, taste it, and see if they like it, like the collagen. A lot of people tells me all the time that the collagen that they're currently on came from CVS Pharmacy. They don't like the taste, or some ordered on Amazon, and it's not as good as ours after giving them the taste. But they still, like you said, they still haven't made up their minds yet when.
Yep.
So what I would say, Betty, is on your friend that purchased all those products that she wants to use before she purchases from you, is just be asking her, it's like, okay, so what type of benefits are you looking for with these products? So you know what she's looking for, and then just continue to follow up with her. It's like, okay, so how's it going? What are you noticing? Almost like she's using our products, but she's not, right? And so you're following up with her in a way that you're showing her the support that she would get with you, as well as you're taking interest in what she wants her outcome to be, right? And you will then be able to find out also when she's getting close to being done with those products. So you say, okay, now it's time for you to really get into activation, something that's actually going to work for you at a cellular level, right?
Okay.
And then with your previous, I'm trying to remember what your first one was. Help remind me again.
She was Mind Body, the GLP-1 stuff that she wanted, and she evidently I didn't call her name, but
okay. So I remember what I wanted to ask you personally, Betty. Have you used third-party validation with these prospects? Have you gotten a team member on to answer questions, or somebody to share their story, or something?
I haven't done that.
Hey, you might try doing that, because that just might be where your hiccup is that you're being the message to your friends, basically, to your prospects. You're being the one that's sharing everything to them, which you're amazing, Betty. I'm sure that there's absolutely nothing that is in your heart of will for these people whatsoever. But what's happening is that a lot of the times the people that know us, they don't listen to us. They don't listen to a dang thing we have to say. I mean, look at a mother and a child's relationship. Mom can say something to their kid and say, no, don't do that. It's not going to be good for you. And a perfect stranger will say, you don't want to do that. It's not going to be good for you. Who do you think they're going to listen to? The perfect stranger.
That's right.
Right? And so, Betty, it's the exact same thing in this business. You have to get used to using third-party validation, whether it's in a group text or in a group messenger or a three-way phone call, a Zoom, or even using people's recorded stories. That still works as someone else's, being that third party. It's
Okay.
so interesting, isn't it, how that works? Um,
Right.
I will bet, Betty, that if you commit to bringing in third-party validation
Mhm.
and using someone that is part of your support team to help share the information and answer their questions for them instead of you being the one that answers their questions. So a cue for you would be as soon as they start asking you questions that you don't have a tool to share with them to answer it, you need to bring in someone else to help you with that prospect.
Makes sense. That's what I did while I went to when I went to Sakane, Pennsylvania this weekend. So I did take my upline with me. And of course, I left them a lot of products as well. They're going to definitely do the business as well as two of the daughters are going to, two of the daughters are going to do the business. And then the mom wants to buy the product. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, then why don't you guys wait until you're ready to do the business? When do you think you'll be ready? Oh, well, we'll probably within the next week or so. Okay, then save your mother for you. That way you can get paid from the proceeds of your mother. And
That would be a great opportunity for a third party person to have that conversation.
Yes.
Exactly right there.
yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah, because Betty, what I would tell you, if somebody's ready to buy, let them buy.
well, I had my upline with me, and she thought she was actually the one that suggested that as well.
Okay. And
But I do want to say something that you said earlier about family members.
mhm.
I have 6 children of my own and 3 stepchildren, and I only have 2 that will buy for me. The other ones won't. I have a sick daughter that's on her bed in bed. She won't buy anything, won't try it. And I have another daughter that's kind of half sick. She won't buy it. She have allergies real bad. She won't buy nothing. We were there this weekend. We stopped at her house, and even one of the girls that are on right now, one of my consultants that are on right now, she even offered her one of hers, and she told her no. So how do you get your hard-headed?
Sometimes, Betty, you don't. So, Betty, just so you know, I
Yeah.
have 8 living brothers and sisters, and only one of them uses product. Okay, so there, you can't just have an expectation that your family is going to. Your family will be the most difficult, and you just have to love them through it. And hopefully, someday they'll come around. But just have the expectation that they may not. Just love them through it. It's okay. Okay. All right, babe. You want to continue on here?
Yes. So here's the whole thing. The whole purpose of this training is to help you create as many SC1 factories in your business as possible. And tools help. But you have to drive consistency because tools can't follow up. Tools can't answer questions that aren't being asked. Tools can't be that loving, caring about people, leaning into them. Tools are wonderful that we can't build a business without them, but you have to drive the consistency in your business, and that requires follow up. So follow up with respect and professionalism. It's not pestering. It's never pestering anyone ever. If you have their best interest in mind, it's just being a caring, compassionate person. So stop the stinking thinking that if you're going to reach out to them or you're following, I don't want to bother them. It's been a couple weeks and I know they're busy. I don't want to bother them. Get rid of that. It doesn't matter. What you're basing it is of if you may feel they're judging you, especially if they're not listening to you, reach back at it. I hope everything's okay. What'd you think of that video? What did you like about it? Whatever. But don't ever think you're pestering them. But because be respectful and be professional. Because champions don't stop at 1 to 2 touches because they don't care about what other people think as long as they have the right heart and they truly are leaning in to help the people. They go until the cops are called, and that's tongue in cheek. So you definitely don't want cops being called. But if they say, "Hey, you know what? I'm good. You can stop reaching out to me." So no, I completely get it. I know you're super busy. However, and I appreciate what you're saying. Would you mind if something new comes out, a new press release that I could follow up with you once in a while? And if they say no, then just take them off your list. You want to be respectful and professional. But here's the call to action. The fortune is just waiting for you to be courageous and not care what people think. If you truly have their best interest in mind and there's something that we have that can bless them, but you've got to delicately walk this tightrope, respectfully, professionally, and literally honoring them as a person. Showing up consistently is critical. Whether it's consistently could be once a month, consistently is every 3 months, consistently is twice a year. The fact that you're doing it is consistent. If this is somebody who's continuing to be on your prospect list and you have their permission to follow up with them once in a while, it just takes time for some people. But your best consultants and your best customers will likely join you after the 5th plus follow-up. It's just how it is. It's not you, it's just the numbers. And next week, we're going to be focusing on objection obliteration. So the questions that Betty was asking, next week, we're going to do a whole training on how you handle objections. How do you handle the concerned person? How do you handle the skeptic? How do you handle the person that sends you all kinds of reviews, that just goes on Google and hibernates there for 2 weeks and sends you all the bad links to everything? How do you handle those people? We'll talk about all the different scenarios next week. But thank you guys. I know we went long today, longer than we typically do. Great to see some new faces on here we haven't seen for a while. And as always, Marci and I are always here to be that tool or that team member. And we're always here to be that support team, the encourager, and we're always here for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in and taking time out of your Tuesday night to be with us. Any closing thing you want to say, babe?
I'm just going to stop the recording.